Pinellas County is 18.5. Again, that's very high. It dropped off a little the previous week, and we said we felt like just the weekend numbers had not come in and that it was understated. We anticipated last Tuesday that it was going to jump. It jumped almost immediately, and it continued to climb to 18.5. We think that it's probably going to go a little higher as well. The overall positivity rate in the state of Florida is 24%. And so that means 1 out of every 4 people in Florida are coming down and being diagnosed with COVID. We are not exempt. Yesterday was a tough day here at Regency Oaks. We had 5 new cases at Regency Oaks. We will be sending out a call them all this afternoon with updated information. We're doing contact tracing now and trying to get a handle on where the exposures occurred. I can give you a little information. We had 2 staff members in North Dining that were exposed, and we had 3 residents in the South building that were exposed. And so that means that we continue to have some exposures in the South building that we're nervous and we're watching closely. I don't have specific information because we're not done with the contact tracing. That is going on right now. But there does appear to be one connection that may or may not be related, but all 3 of the residents in the South building who got a COVID diagnosis yesterday, the one thing they had in common is they all attended the Bill Clark Memorial on Saturday night. So we are currently testing anyone who was a table mate with one of those 3 diagnosed residents. If you attended that party and you have any symptoms whatsoever, you need to call me. Leslie is out this week, and so you need to call me directly, and I will arrange to make sure that we get you COVID tested. We'll come up and do a rapid test. If you're not showing symptoms, you have none of the early symptoms that we just reviewed, don't call me yet. Because if you test negative, I don't want you to think that you absolutely are going to be negative, because you're just on the verge of beginning to test positive. We know that it's about 5 days. And so if you were there Saturday, and it's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, you really should not begin to show symptoms and be able to test positive until sometime tomorrow or Thursday. So we will continue to do the contact tracing. We will do a call them all with all the detailed information that we have and share that with you this afternoon. But for those of you who might have attended the party, whether you're a North resident or a South resident, we want you to monitor your symptoms. Be sure to wear a mask until we figure out whether you're symptomatic or not and whether you need a test. And so as soon as you show any of those symptoms, call me directly and we will make sure that we get you tested. Okay, so we've gone through an awful lot of COVID information. So before I go forward, I just want to take a minute to open it up for any COVID-related concerns, questions. We'll just open it up for a few minutes to talk about COVID.
Were the servers also at that party?
Great question. Were the servers also at that party? And so yes, it was a catered event. And so our servers and our cooks were there. It is accurate to say, we know at this point, that none of the servers or cooks that were at the party have tested positive, and they have been tested. But again, we don't know if that means it hasn't been 5 days or if they're negative. So we will continue to test those servers and cooks that we identified who attended the party, just to make sure that they don't, or they continue to be negative.
My granddaughter lives in Hillsborough County, and when she came down with COVID, they moved. She couldn't get into a hospital there. They put her up in loops.
Yeah, the hospital situation is scary right now. And like I say, last week if you needed a hospital, you were going to Lakeland or Sarasota, and you know that's not good. We've got to get this hospital situation under control, and there's just a huge exposure right now, and beds are not available. All right, any other questions, concerns? Okay, we're going to get through this. Don't let them see you sweat, right? Okay. All right, tonight, in our dining rooms is the Mexican Fiesta, and Ricky and his team have worked really hard to pull this together. It's going to be, it looks like it's a great meal. There's a wonderful recipe that's available. You see I had to make some notes because there are some things I didn't know what that was. And so it starts with pozole soup, which is a pulled pork and hominy. Main course is skirt steak tacos with a Mexican chicken casserole, and the sides are yellow rice and red beans. There is street corn and zucchini that's been roasted, and then it finishes up with a tres leches dessert. It's evidently a cake. So sounds like Ricky and Chef are back there in the kitchen as we speak. It's going to be a special dinner, and I know you'll enjoy it. So look for that this evening. We had an air conditioner chiller go down over the weekend. Cortez, our HVAC contractor, they were on site Sunday afternoon and most of Monday. They needed parts. And there are no parts available anywhere. You probably have noticed that the service elevator in the south building has been down for 3 weeks. There are just no parts. And so Cortez got the system repaired, up and running, and most of no one should be having air conditioner problems that we are not aware of. But if not, please call the front desk and report what the issue is. When you lose that chiller, one of the safety features is it throws the breaker on every single individual air conditioner, and so they all have to be reset in the breaker panel out in the corridor. And so it is possible that we missed someone, so if you do not have air, it's probably the breaker. So call the front desk so that maintenance can come and make sure that your air conditioning is running. Anyone specifically having AC problems in the south? Good. Maybe we got them all. All right.
Was it the south building?
It was the south building chiller. Lee, who is our director of dining rooms, is going to start kitchen tours. And I think this will be a great opportunity for you to see what happens in the kitchen. And one of the things that Lee is going to do differently is, instead of doing it off hours when nothing is happening, he's going to do it right in the heat of battle. And so the kitchen tours are going to be 5:15 to 5:30. It's our peak hours, and we're going to drag people back into the kitchen. It's limited to 8 people at a time, because it's going to be right in the fully operating kitchen. He is going to, every second Wednesday of the month, it will be the north, and every third Wednesday of the month it's going to be available on the south. It is by reservation, so you will have to sign up. But if you've ever wanted to see what a working kitchen looks like in the when we're putting out 500 meals in 45 minutes. This is a great opportunity to come and take a look. So a little bit about the resident satisfaction survey. I just want to give you some dates. There is not a Tuesday talk next week because that's going to be the date of the election. And so our survey, we are treating more like a national election. And our theme is red, white, and blue. And so you will start to see this week some posters about the survey. And our goal is to get 80% of the residents to participate. So we will start the promotional campaign this week. You'll see some posters, you'll see some decorations. Look for a video coming out from the Regency Oaks team to promote the participation in the survey. And then Monday, next Monday, instead of Tuesday, there's going to be a Monday talk. It's right here in the town hall at the same time, 10:30, and we'll be talking about the survey. And so I, along with the department managers, will be here to walk you through the survey. It's a completely different survey than what you've ever used in the past. It's a very long survey. It's 94 questions. Longest survey we've ever done. It is not a NPS, a Net Promoter Score survey. And you'll remember the NPS is where you take a number and you subtract another number and you come up with a middle number, and if you vote in the middle, it doesn't count. This is really clean cut and simple. But we wanted to at least give you the opportunity to come to a pre-survey meeting and go through what you might expect on the survey day, which is next Tuesday, the 17th, is survey day. You will also notice that on channel 732, the sound is back. So the Spectrum was able to finally locate it. It was a faulty DMI cable. Help me out. HDMI. It was a faulty cable, and so you'll be able to catch Tuesday talk. Yesterday we were playing the forum meeting from last Friday. It's back with picture and sound, and so this afternoon you'll be able to catch our Tuesday talk presentation with both video and sound, and then also, of course, future events. So that is everything I had this morning, and I'll take a few minutes to open it up for general questions. All right.
Do you ever have movies?
So the last piece of that is Touchtown, which is the provider of the hardware that produces the signal, is not working. It is a national problem. It is not related to Regency Oaks. It is broken throughout the country. And so every one of the senior living communities across the country that uses Touchtown is not able to show movies. They keep telling us that the solution is coming soon. And soon does not seem to be particularly soon. But Touchtown is working on that, and they continue to tell us that a solution is coming.
You mentioned, I think it was mentioned Friday, about we're going to have a new key system to our doors. When is that coming about?
It will be before the end of this year. There is the contractor. We've already selected a contractor, and our first meeting with the contractor is scheduled. But it's because it's every single door across campus. This is a big project. And so it's not going to start immediately, but it will be done before the end of the year.
One thing I'm concerned, are they going to be set up that when you close the door, it's not going to lock on its own?
Oh, no.
Because if you leave your key in the house, apartment, and then have to go out, is that door going to lock on you?
Yeah, and so that's a really great question. So one of the differences is you will not have the ability to leave your door open. And And so if you step outside to grab the paper, or step outside to say hello to a neighbor, or just step outside to get your keys, your door is going to lock. It does not have an open function. Now, and so at that point, what you'd have to do is then call the front desk, and we'd come up and, what? Oh,
Poor front desk.
what?
The poor front.
The poor front desk. Oh, okay. You'd have to call the front desk, and we'd have to come up and let you in. But it does give us tighter security and so it's a trade-off, right? We're going to get tighter security, but by getting tighter security, we also have to have tighter security measures. And so it doesn't have the option of leaving your door unlocked. That's a very bad practice, by the way, and you shouldn't do it.
Is it a fob or how do you have entry? How do you have entry?
Through a fob.
A fob.
Yeah. And your door will not have a key hole in it anymore. Think more hotel.
What about when I'm having my apartment cleaned? They leave the door open while they're cleaning my apartment. Will they not be able to leave it open?
They probably leave that door open illegally with a doorstop. And so, I'm not going to try to change the world here, and so I'm not going to go collect the rubber stoppers. They will probably continue to use those rubber stoppers.
The magnet.
Some of you have magnets.
Yeah.
Yeah, not every apartment has magnets.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But they can't do that anymore?
Well, they never should have done it, but I'm not fighting that battle. I'm not going to stop that. So if that's their practice in your apartment and it doesn't bother you, I'm not going to go after that.
Is this system dependent on our electricity, and if we lose that power, will it still work?
Great question. It's battery operated backup, and so just like that, there's some hard wiring, but it's a battery backup. So in the event of an emergency, it does not need to be connected to the emergency generator.
One more question. Is that same pod gonna work for the side doors?
Yes, but what that will do, and again, this is an improved security measure that many of you may not like, but it's tighter security. If you've shared your fob with a caregiver or family member who is now able to use a side door, they won't be able to do that, because if you give away your fob, you can't get into your apartment. So your family members are not going to be able to access the apartments through side doors. They're going to be forced to go in through a main entrance. Same with any caregivers that you might have. So tighter security, better security, but it does cause us to have to make a few sacrifices.
When is this going to take place?
Before the end of the year.
We won't be able to use our fob on other doors.
Oh, great question. So your fob will work on your door, but not your neighbor's.
But
And it will also work on every exterior door, but it won't work on an electrical room or a mechanical room or a janitor's closet. So your fob will be programmed to only work on certain doors. Great question.
You'll just have one fob?
One fob per person. If there are two of you, you will have two fobs. Unless you wives don't want your husband to have a fob, then just see me. All right. Oh, Gene.
LCS dinner next week?
Maybe.
What?
So the question is LCS dinner next week. Health Peak was scheduled to be in today to tour the campus. They canceled because of COVID concerns in Florida. They were coming from California, and this is hard to say. The situation in California is far superior to what's going on in Florida. So they canceled on us yesterday, and there is a dinner scheduled for next week off campus at the JV Wine Cellars. And I don't know if that's going to get canceled or not at this point. Which one are you talking about?
Something next Thursday that you sign up for, it's only at nighttime and cordials in the tavern. What town hall?
Changing the tides.
Oh, no, okay, yeah. That is still on, it's,
What was the question?
the question is, next Thursday, there's an event called Changing of the Tides, something like that, and it's a resident event. It is still scheduled. There have been no Regency Oaks activities that have been canceled at this point. All right, thank you very much. Appreciate you showing up. Someday we'll have a real camera. We can do like split screens. Okay. Ready?
Yep.
All right. Here's our COVID update for today. And first slide, Renee. Pretty significant change from what we saw 2 weeks ago. Here is the spread map for the United States. And you can see the low transmission is blue, moderate transmission is yellow. There isn't any. The substantial is orange, and the high transmission rates across the country is the bright red. Florida, and in fact the entire Southeast, is bright red. So we have seen a really significant uptick in the number of new cases all across the country. This is not isolated to Pinellas County or even the state of Florida. Next slide. Here are the new numbers in the United States. Daily cases rose by 34.7%. Our new deaths rose by 35%. That's the first time we've seen a uptick in the fatality rates. It is important to note that that is almost 100% related to people who have not been vaccinated, and so there appears to be a correlation between the fatality and whether or not you were vaccinated. And then we've seen COVID-related hospitalizations increase by 19%. Next slide. Here's the places in the U.S. with the highest daily reported COVID, and this is a 7-day rolling average. You can see the United States is about a 35% percentage, and Florida is the second worst state in the United States with 90 per 100,000. Only Louisiana at 115 per 100,000 is higher. Next slide. Here's something that we've been talking about for weeks, and last week I shared with you I'm not worried, but what am I worried about? This is what I'm worried about. It's the hospitalizations. You can see in the United States we're right at about 20% of COVID capacity, and here in Florida we're above 60%. And so it is consuming all of the acute care beds here in Florida. Yesterday in Hillsborough County, there was not a single hospital that wasn't on diversion. And diversion means we're not accepting new residents, even if they come in by ambulance. We are sending them elsewhere, and elsewhere yesterday was Sarasota and Lakeland. And so if you had an emergency yesterday in Hillsborough County, you couldn't get into a hospital. Here in Pinellas County, yesterday, 6 of our 8 hospitals were closed. And so it's twofold. It's not just COVID that is consuming the beds, but we also know that there is a really bad staffing shortage in healthcare, and for that matter in other industries. And hospitals, just like us, are struggling to get staff, and so they're having to shut down areas or wings of the hospital, shut down specialty areas, shut down elective surgeries, and they're really restricting what they're able to do based upon COVID and staffing. You're also seeing that in restaurants. How many of you have noticed that if you go out to a restaurant, many of them are closing at 9 o'clock because they just can't get enough staff to stay open extended hours? How many of you had the experience of going into Chili's and you're normally in and out in 45 minutes, an hour and 15 minutes, and it's taking 2.5 hours? It's because they just don't have adequate staffing. So this is going to continue to be a problem, because as you look at the trend lines, they're not going down, they're going up. So this continues to be my primary concern, is being able to get acute care beds for residents who really need it. So I wanted to spend just a minute talking about this because you know that you've heard me talk about this for months and months and months. The single most important thing you can do to prevent hospitalization is early diagnosis and treatment so that you can prevent hospitalization. That's how we get in and bring those medical interventions to make sure that you're not going to get sicker than you need to and have to go to a hospital. I've broken these symptoms up into a top half and a bottom half. And the top half is what you should be looking for when you say early intervention. It's fever, chills, cough, shortness of breath, fatigue, muscle or body ache, headache, loss of taste or smell, sore throat, congestion, runny nose, nausea, vomiting, or diarrhea. So if you are exhibiting any of those symptoms, those are the early onset symptoms of COVID. This is the Delta variant. And when you have any of those symptoms, that's where you need to be calling us, calling your physician. If you call us first, we can come up and administer a rapid test and help you make a decision as to what you need to do next and whether you're positive or what we pick up from your medical condition. We do have our wellness nurse. She's able to do that. There are others on staff who can assist us in that process as well. Getting the intervention in these early symptoms is critical. This is where we're going to send you up to the hospital, not for admission, but to get you an IV with a drug cocktail. We're going to get that in your system so that they can send you back home and you'll be able to recover at home. It's when you wait too long and you've been infected for 3 or 4 days, and I've heard this story. Yeah, I thought it was sinuses, or I thought I just had the cold. I was achy and I had chills and I took some aspirin. I just went to bed and, it didn't get better the next day. I wasn't able to eat and, I just didn't have any energy. And the third day, they still, our symptoms are persisting and they still don't seek intervention. The longer you wait, the greater the chance that you're going to end up in the hospital requiring more intensive therapies. And this is what we look for as the distinction between, okay, you're fine, we're going to be able to treat you right here, and okay, you're not fine, and we're going to have to send you out. We're going to have to find a hospital and then send you out to a hospital. It's when you have trouble breathing, when you have persistent pain or pressure in the chest, confusion that is new, inability to wake or stay awake, and then pale gray or blue colored skin, lips, or nail beds. And so those are the more severe symptoms that we look for. I think that may be the last slide. It is, okay. So let's come back here, TV screen over here, and relief when your guest speaker shows up. All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday Talk. Delighted you were able to join us. To get us started off this morning, Robin Graham has an exciting announcement about some future speakers. Robin.
Yes. Good Good morning, everybody. Remember last year it was 2019, it feels like yesterday.
Yeah, right.
When we had our Get Out the Vote campaign and we all got ourselves registered and we got really serious about the political issues that affect our nation. And at that time, one of the things we did was we had Charlie Crist come to visit and speak with us. How many of y'all were around for that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, this year, we just finished with a fairly
Make the
tumultuous
mic a little closer.
legislative session, and I am very happy to announce on behalf of the Activities Committee and FLICRA, and those of you who said this was what you wanted, that we are going to have our 2 state legislators right here at Regency Oaks to speak with you. So please, mark your calendars on Tuesday, August 31st at 2 o'clock in the Town Hall. We're going to have Chris Latvala. Now, he is our representative. He represents District 67, which is Clearwater and Largo. Okay? The same week, that Thursday, at 2 o'clock in the Town Hall, we will have State Senator Ed Hooper here to speak with us. He represents District 16, which is North Pinellas County and South Pasco. We've invited them here to share their views on the recent legislative session, especially with regard to caregivers and other senior-related issues. We are interested to hear what they have to say about whether they supported and why they supported any voting restrictions that were made into law this year, and how those restrictions might affect senior communities such as ourselves. And we've asked them to share their priorities for the next session. I know in talking with you that many of you have other questions. Get your questions together. Bring them. Let's hear what these guys have to say. They're working for us. Let's learn and share together. Again, that's the week of August 30th, I guess it is, the 31st at 2 o'clock and the 2nd at 2 o'clock here. Thank you.
All right, Dave, come on up here. So we are very fortunate this morning to have with us Dave Little, our Director of Therapy Services, and he has some exciting information to share with us. So Dave, welcome, and we're glad you're here.
Thank you, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
Come on, guys. Good morning. That's a little bit. So for those of you that do not know me, my name is Dave Little. I'm the Director of Therapy Services across the street at Regency Oaks Health Center. I've been there about 10 years now. Also, we kind of forayed into outpatient services. And really, what I want to talk to you guys about today is the difference in the therapy services we provide. Because, you know, I know a lot of people think, oh, therapy, that means you go to the hospital, then you got to go somewhere and you got to get therapy. Well, there's a lot more to it than that. There's a lot more therapy services that are available to you. So I'm just going to break it down. And I want to talk a little bit about skilled nursing, which is the building I work in across the street, right? There's one kind of therapy over there, and that's skilled. We are doing skilled therapy for people that have gotten out of the hospital and need to get a little bit better before they can come back to their setting. We're not there to keep you there. I don't want you there. I want you guys to get better and go home, okay? So that's the therapy services that we perform across the street. We also provide therapy services to our assisted living residents and to our independent living residents, you guys. But we provide those services on an outpatient basis. There's another kind of therapy out there called home health. And what I'm going to try to do is to differentiate between these for you guys today, okay? So, say you go to the hospital and you don't get admitted. You know, you're over there and they say, you know, you could use a little therapy, you could get a little stronger, but you don't need to admit to the hospital. So you're not going to come stay with us, right? You're going to come home and they're going to send you with some orders for therapy. Now, it could be home health therapy, or it could be outpatient therapy. Does anybody know what delineates those? Okay. So home health, what that really means is you are homebound. You can't get out of your home to go and get therapy somewhere else. So home health brings the therapy to you. Outpatient means you can get out and get around. And that you could go to an outpatient gym we're putting together an outpatient gym over here right now, and it's not ready. So in those instances, we also come to you. But the difference is whether or not you are able to get out and move around. And I think a lot of you are. You know, I see a lot of people that go to the hospital and they come back and they're under home health, but they're walking 500, 1,000 feet. That's community level ambulation. You should be on outpatient. The exception would be is if you had something that was going on with you that required a nurse. And that could be, here's a for instance, say you fell and cut your leg, you hurt your leg, right? So you've got a wound now on your leg that's going to require somebody to look it over. Well, you're going to need that nurse to come to you because they don't do nursing on an outpatient basis. So that would be an instance where even if you could walk 1,000 feet, if you've got to have somebody come in 3 or 4 times a week and look at it, then you're going to want to do home health with that. So, what if you don't go to the hospital? What if you just want some therapy? Like you're starting to get weak, you're talking to your doctor says, you really should do some more. We can help you with that too. All you need to do to get on therapy services with us is get a prescription from your doctor that says, I would like this person to get some physical therapy. And we will take it from there. We will get with you, we will verify who's going to be paying for it. I'm sure for most of you it's Medicare Part B. If you have a Medicare Advantage program, typically there's a Part B under that as well that will pay for therapy services. So if you get that prescription, all you have to do is get in contact with me. You just call our number over there and ask for Dave Little. I'm the only one. And I'll be happy to kick everything in motion to get you started. And typically what we do with outpatients, just so you guys know, is right now, again, until our outpatient gym is in place, we're going to be coming to you. But what we like to do with them is we like to work on strengthening, we like to work on ambulation, balance. These are higher level functions that really, when you're out in the community, is what you need. Specifically balance. As we get older, what's happening to me, start to lose your balance, you start to lose some flexibility in some of your joints. So that it's better to work on it in advance than to come stay with me for 3 weeks across the street. So, do you guys have any questions about therapy or?
Are you going to check up if my insurance pays for it?
We will. So that's the kind of, as soon as you get the script from your doctor, it's delivered to us. We get a copy of your insurance cards. We run verifications. We'll tell you if you have a copay and how much it is.
Are you in everybody's network, or are there some you're not?
We are in almost everybody's network. I'm sure there's some outliers out there, but I mean, we have even recently, we had an issue with Humanical Plus for a while, but we recently signed a contract with them. Baycare's got a new health insurance out. We're signed up with them. So we're pretty good with pretty much everybody. Yes, ma'am.
The services that you offer as opposed to innovative health services, what's the distinction there? For example, bathing, various things like that, but bathing is the one that...
So that's an outstanding question. So innovative health service is more like a personal attendant. So think of a therapist as somebody that's coming into your home to improve your function. We're going to work with you to try to get you better along. But if you don't get there, that's what IHS is for. They're there to help you with the stuff that you can't do anymore. And that actually is a private pay expense for those guys. Anybody else?
Yeah. Where is across the street?
Not that street. So if you come in, we're behind the south building. If you went out the back door of the south building, you'd be looking right at our skilled nursing and assisted living facility. It's just a little one-story on the outside area.
It used to be Sylvan?
Used to be Sylvan, yeah. I don't know who came up with that name, but it's a terrible idea. Yes, ma'am?
Is there a group called Grace?
There is a group called Grace. That's another excellent question. So there are a number of home health companies out there. That's what Grace is. They're a home health company.
They work here?
They do. There's several home health companies that come into this building. Grace is one of them. But really what they're for is they're providing that nursing care if you need it, and most of you don't, or they're working on people that cannot get out of their home. But if you can get out of your house and you can walk to the dining room, trust me, you guys you should be outpatient. Any other questions? I know you all want to talk about COVID, don't you?
Oh, can we go?
Okay, well, if you guys do have any questions, I'm right across the street. I'm easy to get in touch with. Again, my name's Dave Little. Just give me a shout. I'm happy to help you.
Thank you.
Thank you.